Hello and welcome to a brand new episode brought to you on the Four-Eyed Radio Network. If you want to see more shows, check out foureyedradio.com, Sorry about that.
It's your good pal, Steve-O from the 4-Eye Radio Network. I'm here to talk to you about a wonderful designer we all know, Revenge Lover. Illustrates and designs that fit your personality. For samples and inquiries, please visit revengelover.com. And just do yourself a favor and tell them Steve-O sent you. I know it really doesn't count for anything, but, I mean, come on. Who are you gonna trust? You gonna trust somebody else? No, you're gonna trust me, Steve-O. Because, face it, I'm awesome.
Holy filling balls, we're back, Steve!
Here we are, and I'm ready to talk turkey.
Welcome to the 12A Podcast, where you're going to learn about movies, entertainment, and a lot of other cool stuff. And now, here are two guys who are glad they didn't sleep with Charlie Sheen, Jeff and Steve.
Yeah. Oh, thank God!
The opportunity was there.
Right, yeah.
All right. That was, I just got back from California, was there for a beautiful week on the beach. But
With Charlie Sheen?
No, not with Charlie Sheen.
Okay, all right.
But the Charlie Sheen thing is, this is when all the Paris attacks happened and stuff. And so my mom always checks the news on her phone, and her news updates were, Paris attacks, they fire back at Syria, Charlie Sheen has AIDS. That's exactly, she was like, oh, guys, this is what the top news things are right now. And Charlie Sheen was up there with, like, awesome. That's great. So,
Well, I guess that just goes to prove that Charlie Sheen can take down terrorists.
Something like, maybe we should
send him over there.
Right?
I don't know. Yeah, let's.
Because you're right. Didn't the number one news story go Paris Charlie Sheen?
That's
Did he not replace Paris as the number one news story?
Yeah, so it's up there. Yeah, so we'll
interesting.
Welcome. Well, welcome everybody. We're going to be talking about
Thanksgiving theme.
And unlike our last Halloween one, I stayed true to my notes to make sure I stay Thanksgiving themed.
I was going to ask if you what your notes were this time.
So all my notes are about Muppet Babies. Is that what we're talking about today? That was my impression.
Exactly.
That's what I walked away with last time.
Yeah, me too.
So,
me too.
In other news, though, maybe we should continue with this podcast thing because it's obviously good luck for us or something.
Is it?
Because we went from having like 8 or 9 rejections at a film festival to we actually got accepted and won some stupid award or something.
Right.
So there we go.
We went from complete rejection to a little yes,
a little
a little award,
a little award,
right, for one of our short films.
It wasn't little; it was a gold award.
It was a gold award.
So that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, well, it is a big deal. But if you look, their top award is their platinum level. So, but we are second.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like it was the copper or the bronze or the aluminum or anything. So
right.
Congratulations! Here's your gravel participation ribbon.
So I'm not going to float our boat too much because if you look at it, there's like 10 short films in the platinum and like 10 short films that got gold awards. But there are like 10 short films that just didn't get any, were honorable mentions. Right. So at least
Yeah, you got something. You got some recognition.
It wasn't just a showing. So.
And the way, I think a good way of thinking about it is, this is actually in a festival. They didn't air. It was just kind of an online thing. Mm-hmm. But had they actually ran the actual festival, we would have gotten in at least.
Right.
I just sound really like a little desperate girl hoping that a boy will ask her. It's just like, we're like digging deep to make this sound really good.
Only.
And,
they'll get there. I think we got 2 more to be rejected or accepted from. We'll go with the rejected. Let's just, let's not have any hopes. So.
Yeah, no.
I didn't want to bring this up, guys, but money does talk. So I may have sent some coins. Where was it?
It was Nevada, so conveniently it was the Nevada
go.
International Film Festival. So
that's kind of like Vegas, right?
Between all the rejection and needing the money to help out, being a filmmaker reminds me so much of high school.
Wow, that is a good point. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, but I figured since I was making films with you, Steve. You did much better in high school than I did.
You would think we'd get more acceptance.
Yeah, you'd think between
no.
between my luck with girls in high school and your luck with girls in high school that we'd at least have a happy medium.
One of us would have
AIDS.
AIDS. Okay, one of us.
Not unless you sleep with Charlie Sheen.
That's right.
Oh my gosh,
Which you didn't,
okay.
thankfully.
No, I didn't. So Thanksgiving, it's around the corner, and
Yes.
I've got a few good movies to stream, and I've got a second base for $1 that's. It's not necessarily Thanksgiving themed. It's just,
Okay.
but it's a good,
It'll
good
get you
comedy
laid.
story thing. And I don't know if it'll get you laid.
Oh, that's the second base.
That's the
Sorry.
second base. But
Okay. My
we're
goodness.
staying away from the AIDS. Okay.
The home run
Jeez.
thing is our later podcast.
Yeah, that's
The
that's
second base is the PG-13
midnight
version.
podcast.
Although I remember we did that when we did Home Run for $1, I think. Didn't we do that? And it was Love Actually. As I
Love
recall.
Actually, I think was the one. Yeah, we're talking about this will always get you laid. So at least for me at Christmas time. But this is a movie though that I enjoy because I was thinking, oh, I could watch this with Jeff. I thought this is a movie Jeff would
Wait a
enjoy.
minute.
That I thought, wait a
All
second.
right.
Second
Okay.
base with Jeff for
How to get to the dugout for $1?
how to strike out for $1.
Oh, great! Oh, great. Well, let's talk some Thanksgiving memories.
All right.
I was trying to think of like a very fond Thanksgiving memory, and I think one of my favorites was first attempt at deep frying a turkey in my parents' backyard. When we first moved here 20 years ago. We had overfilled the thing with oil, so you dipped the
Sweet.
turkey in,
It
and
blew
you got,
up.
Yeah, just and splattering everywhere.
Oh,
It was
my
like a
gosh.
disaster. I
Oh,
mean,
my
the
gosh.
turkey was delicious. It is amazing deep fried. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, they
And
are.
nobody had to go to the
nobody had to go to
hospital.
the hospital. None of that stuff. Yeah. Thanksgiving's more of a I like it more than Christmas in a lot
Right.
of ways because it's a more relaxed holiday. Like we're playing horseshoes, drinking beer, throwing a football around, something like that. Everybody's just sitting around and eating, and so it's a little bit more relaxed. Of course, now that I have kids, Christmas is a lot of fun to watch kids open presents and everything like that. But
Right.
Thanksgiving.
So is the order you play horseshoes and then drink beer, or drink beer and then play horse? Because that could be interesting if you drank beer first.
Usually the beer does start because Thanksgiving, I found out from a friend of mine that I had lunch with him today, and he does Thanksgiving dinner at 8 o'clock at night, and that's totally weird to me. And maybe I'm way off here, but it's always been 3, 4, 5 o'clock.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
an early, we start cooking at 10 or 11, and that's when the drinking starts too. And
Okay.
we'll have snacks and chips and dips out that you're snacking on until
Right.
the turkey's done. But it's usually 4 or 5. When you said 8 o'clock, I'm like, oh my goodness. You
Yeah,
weird-
no, we
you
normally
weird
do
Mexican
1
guy.
o'clock because you got to let the turkey digest a little bit, and you want to be
yeah.
able to go back for a little bit more
And
before
the
you go
pie
to bed,
afterwards,
right? Yeah,
So
Yep.
yeah, I thought that was very strange. So, but he's a Mexican. It was Esteban. So let's be honest
Oh.
here. I think he
Oh.
has some weird traditions
Well,
going
he
on.
kind of counts, I guess.
Yeah. So
Although it is cool, I have some friends who are Jamaican, and we've gone over to their place for Thanksgiving, and good food.
any interesting dish or anything?
Good food. Yeah, so they have this stuff called carnival, and they have rice and beans, and they do a lot of the typical
Traditional type
turkey
stuff, too.
and stuff like that. But it's just stuff that they've sort of incorporated from their Christmas meals that they've kind of thrown in because Thanksgiving is just kind of an American thing,
Right.
and as normal, Canada has some mutant version of of our good stuff.
I think they do have
we have
Thanksgiving.
football, and they have some weird mutant. Robin Williams said it best. Canada's like a loft apartment over a really great party. Not to trash on Canada, but
They do have hockey, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
they do have hockey, and
Gotta give 'em
they
that.
Give him that much.
they did.
So they do that. My parents. So we always do Thanksgiving with my wife's family because my parents, our week before tradition is going to California, stay on this beach house. So that's what we just did. And the first couple of years that we did at this beach house, we did the whole turkey dinner, all this stuff. We were like, this is so much work, and we're on vacation. So now our thing is Indian fry bread, and we just use ground turkey for the meat, and we do Indian fry bread tacos. Is what we do
Oh,
for
yum.
our Thanksgiving
Wow.
things. It's easy to do. We love that kind of
Yeah,
food and stuff.
you
So,
would
yeah.
never see them do that in Canada.
No, never. No. So there you go.
probably not Jamaica either.
From not Jamaica either. I mean, I think I'm a little close to Indian res or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, so that's my parents. That's the tradition we do there now every year.
Very
So,
cool.
Yeah.
So I go to two families
Okay.
on my mom's side and then on my dad's side. So it's like a full day of eating. My dad has a huge family, so there's everything you can think of there.
Mm-hmm.
So usually it's like 1 o'clock for my mom's side of the family, and then 3 or 4 o'clock for my dad's side of the family. But what's funny is there used to be a guy that lived across the street from me, and his goal every year was to be the first one to put up Christmas decorations. But his rule was you couldn't start putting them up until after Thanksgiving dinner.
So it could be the day of Thanksgiving, but
It was the
had to be
day of
done-
Thanksgiving,
dinner was done. Okay.
and actually about 1 o'clock every year, like on the nose, this guy would be out there with his ladder.
Wow.
Everybody else would be pigging out, but they had already eaten, and he wanted to be the first one to put his stuff up, and he was really proud of it. So literally, like
Right.
1 o'clock, you could look out the window, and here he was with his ladder, and he's stringing stuff out already.
Wow.
But it was funny because he had this rule. He's like, well, you can't do it before like 1 o'clock. That, But after
It's a
one,
very
everything
specific
it
rule.
was very
It is very
specific, and it's
specific.
like it was just kind of an odd thing, but it was funny. It was funny.
And was he the only one in the neighborhood putting up Christmas lights
At that time.
At that time,
Yeah.
But then other people start joining in and start
Well,
doing
yeah,
it after
because
it became a race.
most
for
of the time, everybody, most of the time, people are eating at 1 o'clock.
Right.
You typically,
Yeah.
But he rushed to get done first so that he could get out there and start putting his decorations up, and then
Oh man.
And then people
So it was-
started joining in.
You know what's
That's
funny though?
was bizarre.
I kind of want to be that guy.
Yeah.
Like when, like not right now, but like when I have my family and my kids and stuff like that. Like I want to like have the big family thing and then get away from the family and
Right.
just go put up Christmas lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah.
like a good time.
No, yeah, and it is one of those things. Like I never ever was the type of person that would decorate the day after Thanksgiving, even or anything like that. But now, like I can't wait to go pick out the tree with my kids and decorate and pull out the lights. It's a whole thing now. And I mean, it won't start on Thanksgiving Day, but I mean that Friday, the weekend, it's all up. It's done by that weekend. So yeah, before
Right.
December 1st hits,
funny.
it's decorated.
I wonder what HOA police would say about that. Would they be okay with it?
Interesting you bring this up.
December 1st, I believe,
December
is what
1st
their
was
rule
the date, yes.
December 1st.
Very strict about those lights
It
coming
was.
down. Too.
And very strict about what ornaments could be out. Only traditional nativity scenes, I believe.
Hey, which
Right.
is a good plug. If you guys not listening have not seen HOA Police,
Yeah,
go
lots of
to
good stuff
YouTube
there.
12A Productions.
Way
or-
before
or-
our time too, because and it's youtube.com/HOA Police too.
There you go.
Maybe
Yeah.
they'll-
Okay, that's a
But
quicker way.
Oh, the article.
the article,
Yeah.
I mean, it's all over now. More and more people doing doggy DNA testing
know,
at
it's
apartment
crazy.
complexes
Yeah,
and stuff.
it's so funny. Like when I'm telling people about the series HOA Police, and I tell them it's about these cops patrolling their HOA. If you look back and think about the most ridiculous stuff is stuff that was based on real life stuff. Like
Right.
these complexes that are actually swabbing for the dog DNA. So if the
Yep.
dog craps in the community, they know who it is, which
Right.
is the article you're referring to.
Yep.
But the other one I remember too was about the HOA police shutting down like little girls' lemonade stands.
Yeah.
It's just, this is real stuff.
Yeah. Well, we even had a scene where it was talking about like the security we needed around the pool and everything.
Oh, right.
And sure enough, even in our own neighborhood,
Right.
we don't have a key now. It's an electronic RFID
Oh
key
my
card
God.
thing
Yeah.
is what it is.
That's
and you had
hilarious.
to go to the pool and you had to show where you're at, your house and everything like that to get your key fob. And it's
Wow.
and it's locked down, so you can't go there after 10 p.m. I mean, it's
Hey, and we waterboarded somebody, and that really happened.
we did.
Right.
I mean, man.
That may or may not have been the HOA thing.
yeah, they figured it out. But still, yeah, it's really. I mean, it's the old truth and comedy type of thing. So
Oh, yeah,
I think it's
for
funny
sure.
anytime we get tagged
Oh,
on
yeah.
something on Facebook or something on social media about, oh man, did you see this article? Yep, here's
Yeah.
the episode.
And I remember one of our
there.
early fans was actually an HOA attorney, right?
here
Yeah.
locally. Yep.
Yeah.
So
very
that still
cool.
follows us on Twitter. So yeah.
That's hilarious.
I had another when you're talking about the food, and then Jeff, we'll get to yours. But a handful of years ago, probably 8 or 9, David and Renee. I remember one Thanksgiving. David Kosand and I had
Right.
a competition where we did a pre-Thanksgiving weigh-in and then the end of the day weigh-in to see how many
right.
pounds we can gain.
Right.
And I know I'm a little bit off, but it was a ridiculous amount. Like I gained like 7 or 8 pounds.
Really?
But David gained like 10 or 11 pounds. Like he was a
Oh
good
my
2 or 3
gosh.
pounds more than me.
Holy
and so
cow.
Renee always called me tiny after that. That's what it was because I only gained that. And I and that was back when we were going, both both sets of parents' houses,
Yeah,
and you're eating, and
yeah.
just was eating all day long as much as you can. It was a ridiculous amount of weight. Like we're
That is
purposely
a
trying to
lot.
drinking. I was drinking a lot of water and stuff. Like you're purposely trying because
Right.
you outweigh them.
Right.
So, but yeah, that was another thing more recently.
Oh, my
I
goodness.
can't handle that kind of food anymore nowadays. Getting too old for that.
Right. Yeah, I can see
So,
that.
what about you, Jeff? Anything come to mind, or you hate Thanksgiving? It's the most horrible holiday.
No, I love Thanksgiving. For
Okay.
me, my most fondest memories are being a kid, and number one, you're just really excited because you know you're going to have a big break.
Mm-hmm.
And then at school, you're cutting out the pilgrim hats and making it out of construction paper, and then you're doing like the pilgrim and Indian play, for everyone to at the school assemblies and stuff like that, and then you just spend some time with family and you're chilling out. Like that's probably my just favorite. The most memorable, I think, and I'm pretty sure this is a Thanksgiving memory. Sam and our families get together a lot. So I'm pretty sure this was a Thanksgiving memory, though. The day I lit fire to the kitchen table, you remember that?
Yes.
So
That was that was Thanksgiving.
yeah, my mom would leave these little candles in front of each person's plate at the dinner table, right? So big dinner table, all the families around it, and she'd always have the setup just really, really nice decorations and, like napkins and plates on top napkins and nicely folded napkins and then
Yep.
all the silverware and everything.
Yep.
So we had these little candles that were lit in front of each individual plate, right? And this was before her grandkids, my brother's kids were really involved, and so we just had plenty of fire around the table. Well, the table was starting to thin out, and I was pretty bored with the conversation, I suppose, and so I started playing around with the fire and my napkin. And they're having their boring conversation.
I'm sorry. How old were you when this was going on? Like,
Oh, this was probably 10 years ago.
Yeah, it wasn't
Okay.
that.
Yeah, it's
It
probably-
wasn't like he was a kid.
Yeah, it was
kid.
probably
that's I think 'cause
25.
he's like they're having their boring adult conversation.
Yeah,
No,
He was
he's an
25.
adult. He's
Yeah.
an adult.
yeah. I still belong at the kid table.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, go on.
And so there's 25-year-olds bored with the adult conversation, and so they turn and look at me when they realize a glow out of the corner of their eyes, I suppose. And here I am, and I lit my napkin on fire, and I'm not like surprised or running for the door or
Right,
throwing
yeah,
it up.
no.
I'm amused by this. This is what's entertaining me. So I'm watching my napkin burn up in flames, and everyone starts freaking out, and they start doing whatever they need to do to put
I'm
my
pretty
fire out.
sure not only was the napkin burning, but you put the napkin on a paper plate. And the paper plate was burning, and then it started burning the tablecloth
tablecloth
underneath
thing,
it.
the mat or whatever she had
Yeah.
underneath. Yeah.
So it progressed.
Right.
And you're just sitting there watching it because it's a fire.
Yeah, I was.
He was mesmerized by the flame, and we're like, dude, you're going to burn your mom's house down.
Well, it was a paper plate on top of a glass plate, so I thought it'd be. I felt like I was in control, whether I was or not, I don't know. But I was convinced I felt like I was in control.
Yes,
and
I
so
remember that. That was funny.
ever since then, until this day, my mom still puts out candles, but she puts out the little plastic ones with batteries in them that have the
okay.
fake.
Yeah,
sugar.
not
Yeah.
real flames
Yeah.
anymore.
Since that event, we've never seen
I
a.
was just wondering if maybe you didn't get one anymore. Like next year you don't have
No,
candles,
because
but
she's
you're-
convinced I would switch spots with somebody
She
or
would.
someone.
He would figure out a way to burn something.
Right.
The best part is they're having an adult conversation in the board. All right, you went for a story there.
Okay.
That was all
That's
right.
pretty good.
Jeff. That was great.
right.
Now, I don't have any, there are traditional, Halloween movies. There are traditional Christmas movies. Love
Right.
Actually is my traditional, Christmas wrapping
Right.
one. But I can think of any, traditional that
Oh,
I
there's-
always watch on Thanksgiving, that I do at least.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
there are ones. There
Right,
are that I
right.
thought of, but nothing that, comes to mind, because usually football's going on the TV, and we're
Right.
drinking, and we're playing cornhole or whatever in the backyard. So
Right.
there's not necessarily one we sit down to. But I did find, and the obvious one was Plane, Trains, and Automobiles.
Right.
That came up, but I did find some good ones that I thought, maybe I should start getting
Yeah.
a little traditional.
So
with
you
the
made a
movies.
list too?
So I made a list.
I got a
yeah.
list too. All right, we'll compare
Awesome.
notes. Go
Okay,
for it.
let's
Let's hear
compare
yours.
notes. Okay, all right. So my Thanksgiving themed movies, and I picked a few different things, but Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was one, which I realized I've never seen in its entirety because I've only ever caught it when it's on TV.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so,
Cool.
it's been watching half-hour bits and chunks of it, not all in a row. So
Right.
I need to sit down and just watch it. So I think that is what I'm going to do this year, is sit down and watch all the way through, and that's going to be a
And
big
it's on
movie.
Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Yeah,
Yeah.
these are all on Netflix, by the way.
Oh,
I didn't
cool.
check Amazon or Hulu or anything, but these are definitely all on Netflix. Another one I found, looking for a different genre and based off of last month, there is a horror movie around Thanksgiving weekend called Christy. And this is
that's on Netflix?
It's on Netflix, yeah.
Really?
And this it's a college girl, and she's stuck on the campus for Thanksgiving weekend by herself. Like, literally, if you watch the trailer, she is by herself on this campus, which is very odd for a college campus.
But
But
makes it cheap to film. It's like,
yeah,
That is kind of odd.
so she's there. She runs into somebody at the market when she's getting something, and like rubs the person the wrong way.
wait, is this like sorority girl Home Alone for Thanksgiving?
Yes, that is what this is. And so she goes back and she's doing her laundry and all this stuff, and then like it's this cult of these 4 kids that like start attacking her and want to kill her. They're pretty much, and so it's her defending herself. But it's
Right.
Thanksgiving weekend is what it is. So
she's alone except for these 4 axe murderers.
axe murders, pretty much.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. There you go.
And it's over the Thanksgiving
And it's
weekend.
over the Thanksgiving weekend, so it's Thanksgiving themed. So yeah,
wow,
so
okay,
Thanksgiving
cool.
weekend. So it's called
Interesting.
Christy. Yeah, so there you go.
Right.
So it's a they called it a survivor horror movie was the genre because she's trying to survive
Right.
being attacked. Yeah,
All
so there
right.
you go.
Yeah, now that you're the professional on the different types of horror
subgenres.
movies. Right.
That's right. After
Subgenres,
last
right.
episode, so Adam's Family Values, because it's been years since I've seen it, but I thought, well, this is a semi-good, family-friendly type of one. But Christine Ricci's character, Wednesday,
Right.
tries to. My favorite part is when she's going. The school play is on Thanksgiving, and she has the Indians set fire to the pilgrims' houses instead of sit down and have dinner with them and stuff, because it's this whole. So it's
Nice.
got its Thanksgiving theme to it there
Right.
too. So that was my one.
I'm sure Jeff would love that part.
Yeah, I might need
Based
to
on
watch
what
that
we
one
just
over
talked
the
about.
Thanksgiving break for
Yeah,
sure.
that's a good point.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then my last one was a cartoon one, and it was Chicken Run, because they're trying to
yes.
get away from a farm, and a farmer and head cut off and all that chicken turkey,
yeah, right.
So
Yeah. Oh,
I
that's a
thought,
great idea.
There you go. So Chicken
I'm
Run
gonna-
also on Netflix, and
Very
then
cool.
that's a perfect family friendly
good one,
right
yeah.
there. So
Oh, for
yeah.
sure.
So those were the 1, 2, 3. Yeah, those were the 4 that I had. Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
so
thought
cool.
four
Other
different
than the
genres.
obvious one, my list is completely different than yours.
Yes.
And
All right.
I didn't just stick to Netflix. I did Hulu too.
Oh, look at you go.
Yeah. So
Extra credit because he had the wrong notes last time.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna-
Andy had the best
kick your
story for
ass on this
Thanksgiving.
round.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll start with number 1, and then I'll go back to 10 because number 1 is Plane, Trains, and Automobiles, and it's obvious. So let's not. There's no suspense, right?
Right,
So we're gonna go back to 10, and we're gonna work our way up to number 2. All right. To start off, I thought, hey, why not watch some classic TV show? Like that's like the trendy thing to do now, right? It's like they've got MeTV and Antenna TV and all these cool places that like watch all these great old shows,
Yeah.
right? So why not go back and watch classic TV Thanksgiving episodes? So if you look on Hulu, there is Cheers, Webster, Father Knows Best, and Happy Days. All those shows have Thanksgiving
Wow.
episodes that you can sort of check out online.
Okay,
So
yeah.
check those out. Number 9, again, back on Hulu. Hulu has a really cool selection of like cooking shows, and so a number of them have Thanksgiving themed cooking shows.
That are
Yeah.
episodes are around.
So why not, instead of doing the same thing why don't you mix it up and hop on a show and
and cook something a little different, maybe.
Right.
Change up your normal mashed potato recipe.
right.
So.
And I know you and I are probably going to go and watch this before Thanksgiving. One of them, Top Chef, had a picture of Dave Grohl on it for the Thanksgiving episode.
What?
So I gotta watch that one and see what that's all about.
All right.
All right, so number 8, playing off of, and we're still on Hulu here, playing off of your Christie.
Okay.
There's one on Hulu called Thanksgiving.
Yes.
About
my
an evil
gosh.
turkey that's killing people, and it's
An evil turkey.
yeah, and it's actually
Oh my god.
and it's actually a bit of a cult film now, and they've actually gone back and they've made Thanksgiving 2, but I don't think it's on
Wow.
any of the streaming stuff yet. But
Thanksgiving.
yeah, Thanksgiving about the evil turkey that's killing people, right? And I think it's supposed to be, obviously a bit of a campy
B-movie
slasher
type thing.
of
Slasher.
thing.
Yeah. All right. That'd be the slasher horror genre.
Right, and this might be in a similar genre. I don't know. It's called Holiday Engagement. It's it's about a
Is that
guy
on
who
Lifetime or
similarly
something?
loses his freedom.
That's
loses
a
his
horror,
life.
yeah. That's a
it's-
survival
it's,
horror. That's
a survival
terrifying.
horror, yes.
I was in pins and needle during the whole film. As I recall, it's a film about. It's like the typical kind of a Hallmark, right? Like lady's got to go back for Thanksgiving with her family, and she needs someone to pretend to be her fiance
Right,
or
right,
something.
right.
It's kind of like one of those things. Number 6 on that's on Netflix. This is also Netflix. It's called Freebirds. It's about turkeys on the run. It's the same
It's
sort of thing.
animated,
It's an animated film. It's about turkeys on the run. So hey,
Look at that. You got Freebirds.
that works out pretty good. I thought this one matched pretty good. Pocahontas is on Netflix.
Disney movie, yeah.
Yeah, Disney movie. So you've got sort of the pilgrims and the Indian and changing history to make it more family friendly. And on Hulu, you got to watch this one. This is only number 4 on the list, but you got to watch Garfield Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Last year, I don't know if they still have it up, but last year they had Garfield Christmas on Amazon. So I don't know. As a kid, like I loved those. Watching them when you're older, like that's kind of cheesy, but oh gosh, it was fun.
Okay. Well, let's try it out. Just because, like, I remember watching the Garfield cartoons. I've never seen, and it's going to come up in my speed round for you. I've never seen a Garfield Thanksgiving though, or a Garfield Christmas.
Yeah, I don't
anything,
recall
like,
it either. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be watching
the Charlie
that one.
Brown stuff, you know.
Right. Yeah. So I'm definitely going to check that out.
Okay.
Number 3, a film called Dutch. It's with the guy from Married with Children, Ed O'Neill.
Oh,
right?
okay. Oh, yeah, and he picks up the kid or whatever
Right.
from prep school. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Have you seen it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's funny. It is, but it's it's your typical. It's the kid's a brat and stuff like that. He's got to get along with them, and they're traveling in a car by themselves cross country type of thing for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and it's a John Hughes movie.
I didn't know that though.
Yeah, he wrote. He didn't direct it, but he wrote it.
Okay.
And yeah. So it's like watching it. It's like it feels really rigid. Like the director didn't like it doesn't have a good flow to it, but it's got like a lot of funny little elements to it too. So it's kind of a cool film. Yeah. So bringing the kid back for that. And then number 2 or number 1 on our list is go back and now that Friends is on Netflix, go back and they have a lot of great Thanksgiving episodes. Like that was kind of their they were more for their Thanksgiving episodes even when they were for their Christmas episodes. So yeah, watch the Friends Thanksgiving special. So there you go, top 10.
Wow.
Okay.
Boom.
Very good.
Well, I like it, and I'm gonna have to check out the Garfield Thanksgiving with my son. See, he's my excuse for watching cartoons nowadays. So yeah.
Yeah. So I think Garfield Thanksgiving. I want to watch that Dave Grohl Top Chef, and you've got me interested. I think I'm gonna check out the chicken one.
The Chicken Run.
Chicken Run. Yeah.
All right. Second base for $1 or film history. Who wants to go?
I've been talking for a while, so why don't you take it?
All right. We'll switch it up. Let's get into some second base for $1.
Second base for $1. This is a little segment we like to call How to Get to Second Base for $1. Oh, yeah.
All right. So this is not Thanksgiving themed. I mean, if you look on Redbox, there's probably only 2 or 3 that I would consider romantic movies, and definitely nothing Thanksgiving themed. But this particular one is called She's Funny That Way. And I really like this. This is the movie that I think Jeff and I would have gotten along fine watching this movie. Carly probably would have loved this movie too.
Right.
But it had a very like a Woody Allen or Wes Anderson type of feel to it.
Okay.
And it's a decent ensemble cast of, I would call them more like B-movie type people nowadays. Like they've had their heyday because it's got Owen Wilson in it. Who else? Was in it that was odd? Oh, Sybil Shepherd was in this. She plays a call girl's mom in this movie.
Oh my god!
And this is a recent movie?
This year actually, 2015, or maybe 2014. But yeah, no, recent movie.
Wow.
Jennifer Aniston plays psychotic. Like she is a horrible therapist, and it's great. It's a great character. So there's a lot of bit parts. I'm going through. Oh, Quentin Tarantino plays himself in this.
What?
Yes, which was a great, like, all of a sudden. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but my favorite character was Reese Ifans, I-F-A-N-S. You would know him from Notting Hill. He was the Hugh Grant's. That's where I know him from the most. He was Hugh Grant's neighbor. He got walked around in his underwear.
And The Replacements.
He was the kicker on The Replacements. So he's in this, and so here it is. And I wrote a little bit of a thing for it. Owen Wilson plays a Broadway director who has a habit of sleeping with call girls, then paying them $30,000 to never be a call girl again and follow their dreams. Like, this is not the first time he's done this. He's done this multiple times throughout his life. Okay?
Oh my gosh.
So this particular call girl considers herself a muse and not a hooker. And this call girl, you're hearing all this story from her point of view. She's like telling somebody who's writing her, lifetime story. This is stuff that happened 4 years ago. She's now a famous actress, I guess. But then she promptly tries out for a lead role in a play, which happens to be directed by Owen Wilson's character, whose wife is also starring in the play. And the playwright falls in love with the hooker. And then the hooker decides to quit being a call girl, and one of her best customers, who's a judge, hires a private investigator to find out what she's doing. Jennifer Aniston plays a horrible therapist. Like she's just a bitch to people. It's great. Who happens to have both the judge and the call girl as clients. So, and the judge loves the call girl because she's got the only voice in the world that doesn't sound like his mother, is what it is. And Jennifer Aniston's husband is the playwright who wrote the play that Owen Wilson is directing.
Oh my gosh.
And he also falls in love with this call girl. And then Rhys Ifans or whatever, he's just this famous actor, and he's playing as a starring role in this Broadway play.
Right.
And he just knows about the call girl. Like, he saw the call girl leave Owen Wilson's room and stuff. And so he just pokes the fire. Like, he just shows up, and he's just like, he's just loving watching everything collapse around him type of thing.
Right.
So the private investigator ends up being the playwright's dad. Sybil Shepherd plays the call girl's mom, and Quentin Tarantino plays himself in the end. It's just a great, just everything is related, and love is messy is what I came away with it from. And everybody's life, to some degree, is in shambles, but they all pick it up and move on and stuff. But it's just great. And it had the perfect scenes where the husband and wife were together, and the call girl and the playwright, and then the judge and the therapist are going out because for whatever reason, and they all happen to go to the same restaurant, so you've got that awkwardness.
Okay.
The old man gets punched. There's so many great awkward moments. There's another one where there's this call girl fiasco, and they're on the same floor in the hotel room, and the call girl goes in the wrong room. Then she's hiding in the bathroom while the wife's there, and then call girl goes to the right room, and then
Oh my gosh.
so there's just this great little mix-up scenes. But I loved it, but it was more of almost a convoluted story. You have to watch the whole thing. You're
Right.
not going to necessarily get to second base, but this is that movie that if I sat there watching this on the couch with the girl the whole time, we'd be making out before we made it to the front door when she was leaving, or I was opening the door to her car type of thing.
Nice.
It was one of those ones that would just kind of get you in the mood to just have fun type of thing. So yeah.
So I remember seeing, now you tell me about it, I remember seeing the trailer for that a while back, and I remember thinking the same thing. This is so convoluted. I don't even know what to make of this movie. It's just nuts. There's just so much going on. What kind of a movie would you compare it to?
Well, so I would very much so compare this to a Wes Anderson movie, and he was an executive producer on it. I thought it had a very like I said, a Wes Anderson or a Woody Allen style movie, but then at the end credits, he was one of the executive producers on it. Was Wes Anderson. So, but man, what would I would compare it to any Wes Anderson movie just because of the amount of characters, and the guy Paul Bogdanovich or something was the guy who did it, but I've never heard of him, but I looked him up, and he's been writing and directing movies since the 60s.
Oh, wow.
And not a single one that looked super popular, but a lot of movies, so he's got a following somewhere. But I guess that's kind of his thing, is it's just this huge mix of characters. It would have been, I don't know, what was it, 4 or 5 years ago, when there was a couple of those movies, the holiday ones, where super famous people were in it, and they just had bit parts, but it was tons of love stories and stuff. There was a Valentine's Day, I think, was what one of them was called, or something that.
Yeah.
And I would equate it kind of to that, but because these aren't super popular people right now, they made for interesting characters and just interesting stories and stuff. I loved the call girl's character. She believes that everything happened for a reason, and it's just a Cinderella story, because she was this call girl that gets this big part, and then she gets discovered, and she ends up dating Quentin Tarantino. That's the whole thing at the end, and so it's really good. I enjoyed it. I would watch it again.
And what's it called again?
It's called She's Funny That Way.
She's Funny That Way.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
cool.
And I'm a fan of Owen Wilson anyways, so but it's just so funny. He's got this one line in it that he says to all the girls, and he said it to his wife, and that's how he's got his wife, and he says visit to all the call girls. But that's his thing, and he offers them $30,000. Oh, and he runs into other call girls. Like one of them, after she did that, she became a famous stylist. Like she makes clothing, and so she's like this executive purchaser at this big name New York shop, and he walks into it with his wife, and she recognizes him and goes up to thank him and everything like that. And so it's just so great. And he's, he uses fake names all the time so they can never find him again. And yeah, so it was a good movie though. I enjoyed it. So there you go. It'll definitely get you a good makeout session. We'll put it that way. That's what I think. So. All right, Jeff. You want to film history it? Now that I've been talking so much? So.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
Film history. It's time for This Week in Film History.
All right, here we go. So the movie I chose for us to talk about is Miracle on 34th Street. You guys seen it?
Yes.
Classic old film. Right.
And thanks for sticking, because it starts on Thanksgiving time, right? And then goes through to Christmas. So
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All
I
right.
start because it starts with the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Right.
Right.
Which Gimbals.
So are
actually,
you going to end this film history during our Christmas episode to go along with this, or how
As long as I
is
talk
it?
on these things, it's possible sometimes.
All right,
so,
sorry,
yeah.
I won't interrupt you more.
We'll cut it. We'll cut it and then splice it in.
Splice it in.
Right, yeah, you're
for
going to be
Christmas
editing this,
episode. There you
Steve, so I don't know. Yeah, so it starts with the Thanksgiving Day Parade, and obviously Santa kind of comes in, and it's really cool because it's, it starts, the writer actually got the idea because he was like, gosh, Christmas is becoming so commercialized, it's ridiculous, which is so funny because this movie was made like 60 years ago, and I remember like growing up, like at some point people had that idea like it was a unique idea. Like in the 90s or the early 2000s, oh, Christmas is getting too commercialized. Well, back in the 60s, they felt the same way.
Yeah.
So it's all right,
It's
whatever.
always been there. Mhm.
Right. So it's kind of interesting. And it's really kind of cool that, Gimbals, which was Gimbals and Macy's were equivalents, back then. And they were right across the street from each other. And so they were fierce rivals. Mm-hmm. And so they explore that in the movie. And what's kind of cool is interesting. They did this really risky thing. They had a lot of faith in this film, and they got Macy's and Gimbals obviously had to write off on it, but neither of them would write off on it unless they saw the final cut, and they had a right of refusal. So if they didn't like it, they would have had to reshoot, like done major reshoots, rework the story, and all sorts of stuff. But they made it work. And so they had both Gimbals and Macy's right off on the film at the end, and they sort of released it without any big problems. And they shot it in Macy's and all that. So the question I have for you guys though is what's kind of cool is so they open it up with the Thanksgiving Day Parade when Santa kind of comes in and gets on the float, right, and takes over for drunk Santa. Right. And the footage, a lot of the footage of the Thanksgiving Day Parade there is actually real footage from a real parade. Thanksgiving Day Parade. So my question for you guys is, do you guys have like memories of Thanksgiving Day Parade? Is that something like you guys would do? Would you watch the parade, or was that not a thing for you guys ever growing up?
It was not a thing for me growing up at all.
Okay.
And part of that might have been like we lived in California, we lived in Japan for a while, so it just wasn't like it was a thing on TV.
Right.
But now that I'm married, that was a part of my wife. Like Thanksgiving Day Parade is always on now that you mention it, and so when it starts, it's on our TV. I mean, I've never been into it at all, but Tiffany is totally into it, and so it'll be on the TV, and it'll be on at my mother-in-law's house when we're over there. Yeah, well, but I mean, not my thing necessarily. So,
Right,
Well,
Sam?
I'm trying to think. I don't remember it a lot.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
So I'm trying to think of what parade I do remember.
right? Because I
don't,
don't know
yeah.
too if I'm mixing up the Thanksgiving Day Parade with some Christmas holiday parade. Too,
Yeah, or
that's
Rose
just
Bowl
on it.
parade. or
Yeah, I
a
think
parade,
Rose
yeah.
Bowl is
You know,
like
yeah.
more of
Yeah.
like a bigger one.
It just it doesn't stand out to me.
It doesn't,
necessarily.
no.
Yeah.
So I just kind of remember it being background, really. And it wasn't until I got older. So now it's like a customary thing. Like I'll get on and I'll turn on and I'll just have it on. And I might be doing something else, but I'll always have it on. And then the Westminster Dog Show comes on after that.
Oh yeah.
And now that we have two dogs, now my wife's really into the Westminster. Look, there's one that looks like just like Chuck Finley, or there's yeah. So
Just real quick, does she watch like the Puppy Bowl at Super Bowl time?
no, she
Okay.
doesn't. But if you turned it on for her, she might.
Okay.
She has at one point in her life, watched some show on Netflix that's just babies crawling around for like 2 hours. So,
Oh man, dude, you're in
yeah,
trouble.
there is.
What?
Yeah, so
You're in
yeah.
trouble.
So, so yeah. So I wouldn't put it past them. So.
Wow.
Some interesting facts about it. It actually received a lower B rating on censorship because O'Hare played a divorcee.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
That's something.
Yeah,
Wow.
so ratings have sort of changed,
Changed
and
a
reviews
bit.
have sort of changed a little bit.
Slightly.
Well, another interesting thing, like Xanax. So this is before the days of quote unquote blockbusters like Jaws and Independence Day, right? And so, but back then, Xanax still, who's head of the studio, believed that he still believed that more people saw movies over the summer. So he didn't want to waste possible crash grab on this.
Oh.
So he released it in the middle of summer. But they didn't have, but who wants to see a Christmas movie in the middle of summer? So they actually did not reference Santa Claus or anything at all in any of the marketing materials for all. They did not let you know that this was a Christmas movie. And so they didn't
Interesting.
they didn't market it as a Christmas movie. And so Santa and all that was a big surprise. It was actually originally called Christmas Miracle on 34th Street, and so they dropped it so that they could trick people. So if they released what looked like a really good Christmas movie in the middle of July, would you guys go to the theater and watch it?
Probably not.
I don't know. I guess it would depend on who was in it, maybe.
Yeah.
And what I was expecting. If it was like some kind of comedy or something like that, maybe. If it was a serious Christmas movie, probably not.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't like a drama or something like that.
No.
Yeah, I don't think I would.
Yeah, I'd have to be really, really, really impressed. Because
Right.
otherwise I'd be like,
Right.
well, they're going to release it on DVD before.
Like if
Christmas,
Steven
for sure.
Spielberg or somebody was like, yeah, we're doing this Christmas movie, I'd be like, oh, okay.
Right.
Maybe, but
If you're taking that kind of risk of a Christmas movie in the summer, then
Yeah,
okay,
I'd-
but
Right. So the other interesting thing is this one of the few Christmas movies to be nominated for Best Picture. None of them have won, but there's been 3 of them. Can you guys take a guess at what else was nominated? I'll give you a hint. There was 3, and they were both within 2 years. It was 3 Christmas movies in 2 years that were nominated.
Wait.
within 2
you
years.
said
of each
3
other,
and they were
that's it.
both in 2 years?
Yeah, so there was
3 of them within
so
2
one
years of
was
each other.
nominated, I believe, in 47, and then 48 when this came out. There was 2 of them.
Oh.
I believe that.
I don't know. I mean, because it's Christmas movies.
Yeah, Christmas.
Yeah,
movies.
the only other thing I could think of, but it was older. I don't know. I like White Christmas comes to mind as a Christmas movie, but I'm just trying to think of Christmas movies.
Which
I
was
even
later, yeah.
Christmas
watch,
Carol
you know.
or Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas Carol was 39 and 56.
yeah.
So this was 40. Late
I can't
40s.
think of any.
And White Christmas was 52. I want to say. So one of them's played every year, and is very popular.
I know, and I
And
can't
it's
stand
a Frank
it.
Capra film,
And what's
and it has Jimmy Stewart in it.
Yeah. The BB one, right? BB gun.
No, that's A Christmas Story.
That's a Christmas,
Christmas
story.
But Frank Capra and Jimmy Stewart with the bell and the angel and the guy who relives his life.
Relives his life,
And it's
everything. He's jumping
wonderful.
off the bridge.
It's a Wonderful Life.
There we go. All right.
Jeez.
The other one is Bishop's Wife. And
No,
so
that was first.
it's actually Bishop's Wife is a really good movie. They remade it with Denzel Washington, and it was actually I didn't enjoy it, but Bishop's Wife is really good. So here's some other Christmas movies nominated for different types of Oscars, right? So you have like Home Alone, that was Best Score. A Nightmare Before Christmas, which was visual effects. Die Hard actually had 4 nominations. One of the ones that won was How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It actually won Best Makeup. White Christmas was Best Score, and that's all I found. So not a lot of nominees for Christmas films.
Christmas type movies, yeah. Okay. That was my film history?
Yeah.
Wow. Good job on condensing that.
That was
That was impressive.
Well, I tried to make
learned
it more
something.
interactive. I didn't want to like. I always end up monologuing for a long time, so I was like, "Oh, how can I like interact with people?"
Look at you.
I
go.
know it's
Impressive
it's-
Thanksgiving
it's-
story.
I
know.
He's got the good list of movies.
He's really
the
brought the
films.
A game this time.
I mean,
Big
geez,
time.
Jeff wins the podcast episode.
Trying to
award.
make
Sure.
up for the.
It's just a golden award, though. So
it's
don't
just
worry
You know
about
what?
it.
You get the Spirit Award.
There you go. You get the Spirit
Award.
All right.
Has anybody been paying attention to time? I don't even know.
Yeah, we're at 42 minutes.
Oh, 42 minutes per. Well, I have a speed round.
I have a speed round too.
Do we have anything else? We didn't even talk really about if you had anything else, any other weird game things you wanted to throw at us randomly, or?
No, I don't. But, no, I don't.
Okay. Well, so I guess this is interesting. So we're going to have a short episode, and maybe this just says something about the holiday. I mean, there's not a whole lot around Thanksgiving to talk about movie-wise.
It's a short episode because once we're done, we have to give people time to sort of relax and let the turkey settle in so they can watch football. And then, you know, that special chemical in turkey and milk starts making you sleepy.
The tryptophan or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, which reminds me, one of my favorite Thanksgiving episodes is Third Rock from the Sun, which is a cool show, right?
That's up on Netflix now.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
all of them.
I can watch it. All right, so add that to the list.
There you go.
So like, I love the scene. So it's like, you know, Third Rock from the Sun is about these aliens who come to Earth and they're trying to learn about human culture and stuff, right? So they're experiencing their first Thanksgiving, and so they're the John Lithgow and French Stewart, the leader and the kind of nerdy guy on the crew. So they're sitting there after the Thanksgiving, and they're both in their chairs right next to each other, like their armchairs. And they're both groaning, and they're both in pain from how stuffed they are. And they're just kind of, like leaning back and forth. They're like, and so one of them gets the idea. He's like, so he reaches out and he unbuckles his belt and pops open the top button on his pants. He's like, and then the leader's like, no. So he leans over to help him, and he's like, no, save yourself, save yourself. And so he unbuttons his belt for him. He's like, oh man,
That's good.
That's
what a great.
I like
that was
that.
a great show.
Yeah,
Joseph
totally.
Gordon-Levitt as a young child. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Well, then I guess we should just jump into speed round, huh?
Yeah.
Unless we want to have some quiet time for some reflection on the turkey and
Quiet time.
No.
No, I think we should go and bank the time because we're probably gonna do a long Christmas Day.
That is true. So bank the time. So if we can cut this down to 45 minutes, we got 15 extra minutes for the next one. I like
That's
where your
what I
head's
think.
at. Once again, Jeff's the thinking one tonight.
Okay,
All right,
round.
Let's speed round this. All right. Yeah. Okay. So 10. I got 10. Do you got 10?
Oh no, I didn't get the memo about 10.
How many do you have? I thought we always did 10.
I don't
Did I
know.
always just make that up in my head?
I think so.
I think
think
so,
so.
Steve.
Okay. I got 10. So,
It's supposed to be speed.
No, but
round.
it is. This is not. There's no hypothetical like give me your recipe for cranberry sauce or anything like that.
Okay,
You know.
okay.
But this is a speedy thing. There's only
Okay.
2 choices. It's quick, but it was 10, and we've never had 10. Are you sure we've never talked about this? Huh.
Well,
Okay.
I don't know. No, we
Maybe.
might have had like one episode where we're like, hey, let's do 10.
I wouldn't question Jeff tonight. 'Cause he's
I'm not going-
I'm kind of on the ball right
on
now.
the ball.
So
Yeah, I'm
If
not
he
going
says
to.
there isn't one, there probably isn't.
Okay. Well,
never ever a 10-minute.
Since
Think
mine-
about all the ridiculous crap I've come up with.
there's never been 10, Steve.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll go first since I probably have a lot then.
Go for it.
So, all right, Jeff. Speed round. Turkey or ham?
Ham.
Is your Christmas tree up the day after Thanksgiving, or do you wait till December 1st?
It'll be 2 days after this year.
Pumpkin pie or pecan pie?
Pumpkin pie.
A Garfield Thanksgiving or a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving?
Charlie Brown.
Do you cook anything for the Thanksgiving meal?
Always the cranberry sauce.
Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Christmas.
Watch football or play football?
Play football.
By the end of Thanksgiving, do you wish you would have had more to drink?
Yes.
Black Friday shopping, I like to join the fray or I'll watch the carnage on TV.
I joined the fray.
Okay, there we go.
Fortunately. Yeah.
Boom.
Wow.
Speed round loop. You joined the fray, huh?
That was good.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I like last year I totally Amazoned it up for all of my stuff, but there was a few years ago where it was always right where Tiffany and I needed something, and maybe it was we were thinking about getting a new washer and dryer or something like that.
Okay.
And Best Buy had a great deal, so the Best Buy over at Santa Marketplace, done with our Thanksgiving thing. I go to drive around just to see. There's already like around the whole building, and it's 10 o'clock at night or something, not even open
Yeah.
for a few hours. And I'm like, no, this is nothing
Not
is worth
gonna
this to
do
me.
it.
I'm not going to do it.
No.
Yeah, so I would do it like in college. And it just became a fun thing to do. And like back then it was like 6 a.m. that they would do it, right? So like I just made a fun routine of it. Like that's the first time I got to turn on Christmas music, and I'd turn on that, and I would put my shopping list together, and I would go and I'd stop at 2 or 3 stores and I'd do some of my Christmas shopping and get some DVDs for myself, whatever.
Sure.
And of course in college you don't have any money, so it's like you don't have it's just being resourceful. And then, as I got older, I just kind of kept going with it. And so, like, now I, like, get into the ad leaks that are early and stuff like that. And, I still don't have any money, so there's still a lot of stuff. But so I got Shireen, my wife, into it. And so, like, we made a little tradition of it. So, like, now that it's stupid and it's, like, starts on Thanksgiving and, like, all this stupid stuff, like, we'll see how long it lasts. It may not last that much longer. But what we'll do is, like, we'll go out and we'll go to Starbucks and we'll get our Christmas coffee. And then we'll hit, like, 2 stores, 3 stores, whatever. And we don't and we would do, like, back at midnight, stand in line for an hour, and I don't do that anymore. I just kind of show up when they open, and, you don't try and
get the biggest.
Yeah, you don't go and
it's
fight
some
for all
kinda
the
deal
stuff.
you
That
could
it's just,
find.
there's nothing worth fighting for.
Right.
You need to have some dignity.
Yeah, right.
It's like I'm not going to punch somebody in the face for a $5 toaster. It's just not, my dignity's not worth it to me.
Yeah. Right.
So I'll pay an extra $100 and buy a different TV,
Yes. Yeah.
So I'll go and buy a couple of DVDs and video games, and Shireen will get some cheap makeup or whatever, and that's fun.
And move on to the last.
Yeah. So this year, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go out and we'll just keep that tradition alive and just hit a store or two. But I think the next morning, like some of the malls, like they'll have like a big thing set up where the radio station is doing like a Christmas show and people singing and stuff like that. So we might do something like that.
All right.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Speed round me.
It's probably a way longer answer than you really wanted, but I'm kind of on fire tonight, so I just assume everybody's enjoying
He's on fire.
Oh, man. All right, so here's the thing. So back when we first started doing Speed Round, we did like trivia. And it took forever, and it was the antithesis of Speed Round.
Right.
It was like Slow Round, and as we're thinking about it. So here's the thing.
Here it goes. Your fire's getting put out.
Yeah, so
Whenever he has to set up something like that,
it's time to worry.
Something's coming from left field.
Yeah.
Right. So here's the thing. I found this trivia about Thanksgiving, like the first Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Right? But I don't want you to try and give me the right answer. I just want you to give me the first ridiculous thing that comes to your mind.
First thing comes to my mind.
And what I'm hoping is it's going to be ridiculous, and the more ridiculous, the more fun it's going to be. And if you want the real answers, I can go back and tell you. But if you get the right answer, I'm going to be really disappointed.
Okay.
Just to let you know. So I'm going to fire through these.
If you have some intelligence, Steve, about the first Thanksgiving,
yeah,
Jeff's going to be disappointed.
Very disappointed.
The dumber you are, the more entertaining this is going to be.
Okay. I'll try and dumb this
if you
down.
know, actually, but to be honest, if you know the answers to any of these, it's going to be really disappointing and really ridiculous.
Corn. I'm going with corn.
I'm going with corn. Everything says corn.
Right. So, all right. So I'm going to rifle through these, and hopefully we'll have some fun with this. All right. You ready? Mm-hmm. All right. Here we go. Butterball says the best place to put the meat thermometer in the turkey is where?
Behind.
All right. The thermometer catheter. By the 19th century, celebrating Thanksgiving is said to have been the origin of what table tradition? Hurry up, first thing.
What table tradition?
Yeah.
Monopoly. I'm thinking board games. Like
okay. All right.
Games.
Did the pilgrims take beer with them on their crossing?
Yes.
How fast can you spooked a turkey? Oh, how fast can a spooked turkey run?
2 miles an hour.
Okay. Not everyone sailing on the Mayflower was coming to the New World to settle. What was the purpose of the others on board?
Slavery.
Oh my God. The Mayflower
he
was
said,
not.
Don't say the right answer, Steve.
The Mayflower was not built as a passenger ship. What was its original purpose?
Food.
The original Thanksgiving lasted how long?
2 days.
There were only 2 ways to cook a turkey in 1627. One was to roast it using string and skewers and spinning it vertically. The other was done by using a, quote, tin kitchen, which was set inside the hearth and allowed the turkey to be cooked on a spit and turned. But in the, quote, tin kitchen was only for the wealthy. It cost $3 back then. What would be the equal to today's economy?
Is it equal to the Tin Kitchen?
No, what $3 back then is equal to what in today's economy? How much is pay? Like a day's pay, an hour's pay?
$3 back then. $300 right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. And okay, what does cornucopia mean?
Plethora of.
Okay.
What does plethora mean?
I told you, corn.
What does plethora mean?
Lots of corn.
Lots of corn.
Plethora is that long-ass question that you asked.
Okay. What food do we never eat at Thanksgiving that the Pilgrims enjoyed on the first celebration?
Corn. I never eat corn at Thanksgiving, so corn's my answer.
What vegetable did the Pilgrims have available for Thanksgiving but did not use because they thought it was poisonous?
Onions.
Okay, all right, very good. I'm going to get through that.
All right, I do want to know the answer to one of them. How long was the first Thanksgiving?
3 days.
3 days.
Yeah, so you're actually
okay.
on the right.
You're pretty close.
It was in the days. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great.
I'll tell you a couple of these.
Jeff could have said, in today's currency, what is $3 worth?
Yeah.
But instead, there was like a 5-minute.
Okay, what's the equivalent to a 10 fireplace? Is what I'm thinking of today's.
I'm like, is there a question in there? Is he doing a dissertation on it?
You think, okay, it's about the original Thanksgiving. Okay, it's about how to cook a turkey. Okay, it's about the tin kitchen. Okay, I don't know what it's about by the time the question comes. So the Mayflower was actually built as a merchant ship to carry wine.
Okay.
Oh, I was going to say warship.
And it cost $3 back then, which is equivalent to what in today's economy? According to the blog I read anyways, it's a week.
A week's worth of...
Yeah, okay. And there were several foods at Thanksgiving that the Pilgrims ate that we didn't, that we don't now as a part of our tradition. But the main one that's kind of funny is codfish.
Huh.
And the vegetable that the Pilgrims thought was poisonous, so they didn't eat it, was potatoes.
Potatoes. Oh, okay.
Wow.
So.
Oh, that's my favorite thing, the mashed potatoes. Yep. Mm-hmm. Right. Awesome. Well done, Jeff.
Yes.
Oh, all right. I could dumb it down anytime.
Right? Yeah. So and the one thing that they brought over the people that were not a part of the pilgrimage was not slavery.
Oh, okay. What was
something else?
Something nicer.
I think they were trying to bring wood and stuff like that back, but I closed my notes and I don't want to open it again.
We don't care. It wasn't slavery.
Prostitution.
It wasn't.
It
wasn't.
Was it a drug trade? Was a drug trade
going
big back then? I don't know.
It wasn't drugs. It wasn't slavery, as far as we know, and it wasn't. Another fun fact, though, 50% of them died on the way over.
Yeah,
but most of it was like after they landed.
Fun facts.
But they like landed in winter, and so they couldn't like dock, and so like they all got sick and died. And so by the time they actually, and I learned that from the Mayflower Charlie Brown special actually, and. Actually, there were only
with Wikipedia.
There were only I think 5 women left or something like that. Mm-hmm. So you know that they were the most popular 5 women in like the history of women and groups of people.
Yeah. Okay. We should probably.
I did hear that the corn was a big thing, but I think they could only eat like 2 or 3 kernels a day because they didn't have that much.
Really?
So they had to really ration stuff.
Type of thing.
So it's like, wow, we're pretty in good shape here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No complaint there. So, all right, wrapping this one up.
Yeah,
we're at 55 minutes.
Okay, beautiful.
56.
Well, we got to cut this out because we need plenty of time for the Christmas episode,
right.
And then our trilogy will be complete.
Sweet.
Yeah, sweet. Screw you. What, you want to do this anymore? Sweet.
No, that we've completed it.
I mean, you know how often a project.
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right, Jeff. All right. Well, thank you for listening again to another
absolutely.
episode. We hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving and your
Absolutely.
turkey and your family and everything else. If not, enjoy somebody else's family. You know, but not creepily like watching through the window. That's weird.
Or just enjoy somebody else. Just with consent.
Right. Just ask. We don't need any. Never mind. Don't listen to this part. We should end now.
Second base for $1.
Yeah, it's taking a poor turn for the
very
worse
poor turn.
All right.
I shouldn't have said.
We're going out. Here we go. The 12A podcast is produced by 12A Productions and distributed by the 4-Eyed Radio Network. To learn more about the podcast or to see what other projects the 12A team is working on, check out 12aproductions.com.
somebody needs to put Jeff out.
This has been another proud production of the 4-Eyed Radio Network. You want to see more shows, go check out www.4eyedradio.com, you winkers.